So firstly, on a formal note, the African Union has already integrated, and I wouldn't call it integrated. The African Union actually comprises of North Africa. By its member state, you will note that all North African countries are members of the African Union. So all 55 countries on the continent are member states of the African Union. So legally and formally, they belong to the African Union. They attend African Union assemblies, they're part of them. But if your question is really about the citizenry, I'll take it's about the citizenry, that North Africans, as citizens of the continent, may not feel entirely connected to other citizens of the continent. Yes, then there are a number of historical factors. Firstly, the proximity of most largely North Africa to Europe meant that North Africans interacted with Europe on a much more intricate level than what is called Sub-Saharan Africa. And I mentioned Sub-Saharan Africa with reservations because I don't subscribe to the whole notion of Sub-Saharan Africa. To me, there's just Africa. So because of that historical interaction that went on for years and years, there's a likelihood that the North Africans felt that they were part of the Mediterranean community as a lot more than they were part of the continent, south of their countries and their territories. So this may be a factor. It could be lingering in the minds of the citizens of North Africa. The second factor is language. That predominantly in North Africa, because of the proximity to the Arabic Peninsula and that they speak Arabic, that in a sense creates some sense of community that may be considered distinct either to them or to the rest of the continent. To me, that is a natural phenomenon. That people who share a common language, you tend to feel a lot closer than the people that they do not share a language with. Again, that does not mean that the perceptions entirely in the majority of the rest of the continent is that they consider North Africa as not being part of Africa. Your evidence is all over the place. When you talk about African civilizations, people south of the continent will talk about the Egyptian civilization, they'll talk about the Malian civilization and other civilizations that are in North Africa because they believe that they are part of Africa. But for the North Africans themselves, because of that disconnect, maybe they do not have a great deal in terms of their education system and knowledge about Southern Africa or Africa south of their countries. They may have a sense of disconnect. But suffice to say that with modern technology, with the internet, with the connectivity we have today, that people south of these countries learn instantly what is going on in these countries, and so too people in North Africa learn instantly what is going on in South Africa. This thinking is diminishing. That's my understanding.